guys, welcome to my channel. If you are returning, welcome back, and if you are new, hello, welcome. I don't know why I said that like that. Hello. Yes, so this is another story time. I just filmed my first story time, but for you this is going to be in the following week. But I am going to film the next story time, and I am wearing the same outfit because reuse, reduce, recycle, right? So mind me, I've been sitting in the car for a little while. It's gonna start to go look crazy. But anyways, so I'm going to tell you guys the story time to keep in theme for this month is going to be about vacations with your significant other. So I'm going to tell you guys about another time that I went on vacation with my significant other and he left me at the airport. I know what you're saying, Jamillia, but you just look so smart. How can you be so dumb? Because I still didn't break up with him after that one either. Anyways, thank God for my husband. Even though some days I just want to punch him in the throat. If you don't feel like that about your significant other, are you guys even together? Have you been together for a long enough amount of time that every now and then you just want to whoop, you know? But I still love him very much and he's great. So thank God for him, because some of these guys out here are just crazy. Anyways, so let's go back to my early teenage years and the struggles of relationships. So if you hear any noise now in this video, I have turned the car on because it is winter and I was doing the other video and I started to get like chills and it was a little colder, so I put the car on to get some heat. And this story time is not as long as the other one, so let's get started. So again, I am in between my 1920s. Not the 1920s, but between 19 and 20. And we have been dating for a significant amount of time. This was not early on in the relationship. This was enough time where we're familiar with one another and we love each other. You know, the best part of the relationship. So we decided, actually, you know what? I'm going to put two into this because they're kind of like two micro story times. So we had decided we were going to go, where did we go? One time we went to Virginia and we drove. That's a great story. But I'm going to start with, when I mean great, I'm being sarcastic. I'm going to start with the he left me at the airport one, so because that's the title. But this is going to be two micro stories in one. So I think this was also us going to Florida, but on our own. Because we did go back to that villa on our own, and we did Orlando. Like if Orlando was a verb. We Orlandoed. We Orlandoed. So we did go back to Florida on our own, and right, I'm trying to piece this together. Leon, right. So that was the name that we gave him. So Mr. Leon, still working for the airline, gets the buddy pass. Buddy pass, basically at that time you just paid the taxes of the ticket. You didn't pay for the ticket. Now moving forward, that might have been a lie. That might have been something he told me so he got some money so he could buy something. So if you didn't check out the last story time, you should. It's very entertaining. But Mr. Leon has a recreational addiction to the devil's lettuce. And I said, if you know what that is or what movie that's from, comment below because it's really funny. But anyway, so Mr. Leon, still working for the airline, still whatchamacallit. Right, so okay, let me start over. Okay, so we decide we're gonna go on a vacation. We're gonna go back to those villas that I talked about in my first story time. We're gonna go back to those villas in Orlando, Florida. Now this time when we went, we booked ourselves and we didn't do the timeshare, so we got one of the villas that was like a house. So you had big rooms and kitchens and stuff like that. And I actually went back there for when I had my wedding, because I had a bunch of family come in, so we used them because I really like that place. So thank you for that one. Thank you. But anyways, so we went to the villa. So we book our tickets. So this time no parents are coming, and no sisters, just him and I. Romantic trip to Orlando, because it's a verb. So we're Orlandoing. So we're leaving New York City, we get to the airport, and I mentioned in the previous video that he did not have a connect in Florida to get him what he needed. So he actually somewhat brought something on the airline with him that he wasn't supposed to, that I didn't want to be a part of, because I don't do that stuff, and I'm a big government rule follower. Like, I'm not looking to go to jail, I'm not looking to get stopped for a ticket, I'm not looking for any of that stuff. So I'm not down for that. Like, I know people are willing to risk things. Like, I don't even want to risk bringing over 3 ounces to the airport. At that time it was 3 ounces. Now it's like 3.4, 3.3. It was 3.0 ounces. I don't even want to risk that at the airport because I don't want to be stopped for anything. When I was younger and I did fly alone, I did get stopped, and I had like a traumatic experience because I was like, when you fly, they have kid programs where you fly in there, the flight attendants take care of you and they make sure you get to your destination. And I did fly alone, and I had a situation where I got stuck next to some lady who was doing some stuff, and she was kind of like in this interrogation room, and they thought I was with, it was like this whole thing. That's another time. But anyways, basically, I'm not looking to get stopped at the airport, okay? I'm not doing anything illegal, so I wasn't happy with that. So thankfully, whatever he did, because I wasn't a witness to it, my eyes were closed, he made it through TSA, and I was through TSA. I was at TSA. I went in a different line. He went whatever, and he did whatever he did. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know what the statute of limitations is on smuggling, so I'm not bringing that up. I don't know where he was, where he got it from, what he looks like, his name, the end. His name is Leon. So we get on the airplane and we flew first because I don't know how it works when you work for the airline, but you've just paid the taxes for the buddy pass. So we flew first class again, and it was nice. This time I didn't fall asleep. I got a nice meal, and it was great. So we fly first class. We get to Florida. Now this time around, because we were paying for the trip ourselves, we couldn't afford to rent a car and do all the other stuff. So last time we went on vacation with his family, we, again, go back and watch that so you can find out how that ish went down. We did pay for a lot of things ourselves, but his family did rent the car, and they did already have a discount on the rooms and stuff like that. So we paid for all of this ourselves, tickets to the parks. I think at that time Harry Potter World had opened, and I was so stoked. I was like, oh my god, we're going to Harry Potter World. Like, I love Harry Potter. So that's all I really cared about. I wanted to go to Harry Potter, and I wanted to try a butterbeer. That's all I wanted. Like, I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about if he came or not, okay? I just wanted to go to Harry Potter World, and I wanted to try a butterbeer, and I was just so excited. But again, because we paid for all of this ourselves, it was way different than before. I didn't have all this extra money to buy all of the little gift shop things I wanted, so I wasn't able to get, like, let me calm down. I'm getting really excited. I was never able to get the wand from Ollivander's. It didn't happen because I couldn't afford it, because I paid for the ticket to Islands of Adventures. And so if you've never been to Universal, it's actually 2 parks. They have a water park too, but it's Universal Studios and it's Islands of Adventures. They put Harry Potter World, or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, in Islands of Adventure. So in order for you to get to that, you have to choose between both parks. Like, you can't go to both. Like, you can, but you have to pay for it. Now, like, when I go back, I'm so excited to go back now because I've been waiting for my daughter to get tall enough to ride the rides there. I don't want to go to Harry Potter World and she can't get on anything. That to me sucks. Like, why would I want to do that to her? Now she can get on the rides. So like at Disney, she could get on all the rides basically. She even got on Tower of Terror. She hated me, but she got on it. So hopefully now she doesn't hate me and she'll get on it this time. But for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, the height restrictions were much taller, and so now she fits. I can't wait. So hopefully, let's put that in the future. We're gonna be going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I'm gonna be able to get my wand from Ollivander's because I was so bummed about that. I wasn't able to get it. The only thing I could really get from there was, besides like buying the butterbeer, I got the chocolate frogs, and it comes with a card, like, so you know, because it's just like in the movie. I got a chocolate frog. I basically got like candy. I wasn't able to get. Anyways, that's not the story. Do you see how I just went off on a full tangent about Harry Potter World because it's awesome? Anyways, and now with the train going, so okay, let's bring it back. So back to the regular schedule programming. So we are Orlandoing in Orlando, and we can't afford a rental car. So we have taken Mears, which is MEARS. If you have ever traveled, there's it's like a yellow and black logo. Mears, they do transportation. So they have buses and stuff like that, but you can also book like a van. So I guess they do like airport shuttle transporting. So I don't know why I just said that. Airport shuttle transporting. They do a shuttle from the airport to your destination for a fee. And so I believe our ticket was like $40 something for a round trip. So they will take us there to our villa, our resort, and then they will pick us up. So the issue with that also was when we got to, okay, that's what it was. When we got to our villa, the villa was not like, you go to pull up to a hotel and you go in the hotel and you walk around. The villa was like a decent ways, like a good mile and a half away from the main house where you check in and everything, because it's a huge resort. So it was kind of like, oh crap, like how do we get there? But thankfully they have shuttle service at the resort. So let's rewind and start from the beginning, because I kind of got a little off track with talking about Harry Potter, so I'm sorry about that. So let's bring it back. So Leon and I have gone to Orlando. We've flown first class. We had a great flight there. We land, we take the Mears shuttle. Now, he was not happy about the Mears shuttle. He is a little bougie. Now, the funny thing about him being bougie is certain things, it's kind of like, you should be bougie about that, but you're not. But anyway, so in his mind, he should be treated a certain way. So for example, like he drove a luxury car that his parents bought him, which is fine, but that doesn't you shouldn't feel entitled because of that. So he definitely had this sense of entitlement where he felt like he should be treated a certain way. He should wear the latest Gucci and the latest this and the latest that, and he wants new earrings and whatever. So he feels like that. So that's a bit of his character. So we have flown first class he feels like he's feeling himself because we've flown first class, we're bougie, we're nice, ooh, look at us. And then we land, and now we have to take this Mears shuttle where it's like a dollar van. If you're not from New York City, you're not gonna know what a dollar van is. It's just basically a huge, I think I've seen people go to like Dorney Park or Six Flags with these vans. Like if you rent a big van that has like the rows, and you just like, it has a side door and has rows and you get in, it's that. But in New York, in Brooklyn, we have dollar vans, and it's not $1 anymore, actually. Fun fact, it used to be $1. It's $2 now, because after the blackout they started charging $2, and now it's stayed $2. But it's a dollar van, and you would get in with random people. It rides one straight route on like a certain street or avenue, and you get off at certain points. The end. So the Mears shuttle looks like this dollar van. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If I can find a picture, I'll pop it in. So we get in, but we end up getting in and we got to get all the way to the back because we were first or second or something. And so they kind of like made you sit in the order that they were going to drop you off, and we were going to be last. So they made us sit in the back. So we're in the back, and he's like, but he's like this with his like, I can't remember what kind of backpack he had. Some kind of name brand backpack. It wasn't a Louis Vuitton backpack, but it was some kind of name brand backpack that he had. He's like sitting like that. So I'm like, what's your problem? He's like, oh, we would take this shuttle. We should rent a car. We can't afford to rent the car, because if we do, then it's just gonna be the car. Like, we're not gonna have any food money or anything like that. And so we rent the car. I mean, we can't rent the car, so we're in the shuttle, and it's dropping people off at all these different resorts and stuff. So it's like, it was cool to see like all the different places in Orlando that they have. And so they drop us off, we check in. They gave us the same deal where we could go see the timeshare and get the tickets and stuff like that. And again, I think I forgot to mention that in the last story time. He said he was going to do it, but he was so intertwined with the Devil's Lettuce that we never made it. Like when they did say to come, and they wanted you to come as couples, because I guess they figured you were going to like sign on together, and then they'd kind of keep you, it's whatever. So they gave us that same deal again, where we could go to the timeshare meeting, and we would get these free tickets. But we didn't have time, like whatever they were doing, it wasn't going to work out for us. So it was just, we weren't going to get those free tickets. It was over for that. And I don't really know if they actually give you the tickets, so I never really heard anybody actually leave there and say, yeah, we got free tickets. But whatever. Anyway, so we check in, and they're like, oh, your villa is, they give you the map and they circle. So like, let's say they give you the map. I'm going to put it this way because you guys are watching it this way. And this is the main house. So we're like, your villa's going to be over here. So we're like, oh shit. Like, how are we getting over there? And they're like, oh, do you guys have a car, blah, blah? And so we're like, no, we don't have a car this time. Like, do you guys have a car with you? Did you park? And we're like, no, we didn't. We took the Mirror shuttle. And they're like, no worries. Our resort offers shuttle service, and it comes like every 20 minutes. And there are different bus stops where you can go to. And then after that, you have to walk, like, wherever. That's the closest to your thing. So we had to do that. So then he's back, like this, right? He's like, I don't think he has to wait for the bus, because he never takes public transportation. So even back in the city, he never took the train, he never took the bus. Like, I took the train, I took the bus, I went to school, I went to work. He never did that. He took the train one time. He went to a Knicks game and he almost threw up. So I don't know, like, and I don't know why, because his parents took the train, his sister took the train to school. Like, I don't know why he feels like he's so above. Anyways, he was so above that. So Leon is just sitting there with a pout on his face, and the shuttle bus finally comes, and we get on it. We get to the villa. It's nice. It's really big, and we have all this stuff. So because we didn't rent a car, we couldn't get groceries this time. So last time we got groceries, and this was before Uber and before Lyft. So if anyone's like, you could have just get an Uber and take the Uber to, you just get a Lyft. There was no Uber and no Lyft. Yes, there were cabs, but that wasn't we did end up using a cab one time, and that was an experience in its own. But that wasn't the norm for like teenagers where I'm like, let's call a cab. Like, now you guys are like, let's get an Uber, and that's not the norm. Anyways, so first night was fine, everything was whatever. So I'm thinking he's gonna be okay, because he has now done what he needed to do to get whatever he got to bring wherever he needed to bring. And he brings the devil's lettuce, and I guess he finishes the devil's lettuce. I don't really know how, whatever. So he finishes that, and he's like, he needs to get more. He needs and some whatever. So he finds this connect who's going to bring it some for him. So I guess that means they're going to charge you more money. So, right. So I guess they're going to charge him extra money to bring the stuff to him, which means now he's cutting into our fund of me getting awesome stuff from Harry Potter World, from the gift shop. So I was so mad. I wonder if that's why I couldn't get my wand from Ollivander's, or if it just wasn't happening from the beginning. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so this random person, so I'm like, this is so crazy, because now that I think about it, that I'm older, and when I like think of my daughter and I want to explain things to her when she does become of age to date and she decides she finds somebody she likes, whatever, I want to explain these things to her about the fact that your significant other should not put you in harm's way. Like, that is definitely something that should never happen. So I was just saying, it's so random that this person just, you don't know who this person is, you're telling them where you live, and they're showing up, and you're giving them the villa number at that. It's not even like they're just showing up to the resort, they're showing up to the villa that you're staying. Anyways, right, so this person delivers whatever they need to deliver, and he's in his glee, so he's great. I'm like, whatever, like, I want to eat, let's go eat. So because we're staying on property, we can eat. They have like services where you can call and order food that's on the property, which is great, and then they'll deliver it to you. So I think we had ordered a pizza. Yeah, we got a pizza, and then I'm trying to figure out what happened next. But anyways, we can jump forward, because that's not where the job happened. So then the next day we go to Islands of Adventure. We have a great time. Everything's great. No Ollivander wand was in my hand. I was not chosen. I don't know what kind of wand I would get, and I'm still devastated, and I can't wait to go and get a wand for myself and my daughter. So because I know my husband doesn't want one. Right, so we have a great time at Islands of Adventure. Butterbeer, I'm not going to spoil it for you. It was alright, but enjoy it yourself. I'm not going to tell you what it tastes like. So we leave there. Oh, okay. In order to get to these places, we had to take shuttles, right? So we had to pay the Mirror shuttle fee. So yes, I know you might be thinking that you could have just rented a car, but it didn't match. Like, it was like a good $200 cheaper to just use the shuttle service than it was to actually rent the car for the couple of days that we were there. So, and also because if you know this, if you're under 25, they don't like to rent to you, and they also, like, I think they charge you a fee. Like, even though he had been driving for some time, so he wasn't a new driver, he definitely had his license. He was like 16 or 17, whatever kind of thing, but they wouldn't that's how rental cars work. They don't want to rent to you when you're under 25, or they give you like this extra fee, or a grown-up needs to help you, all this kind of jazz. So we didn't have that. So we take the shuttle to Islands of Adventure. We have a great time. We leave Islands of Adventure, take the shuttle back to the resort, have a great time. The next day, we're like playing in the resort, swimming, doing basic stuff. They had a movie night at the pool. I wanted to stay at the movie night. He didn't want to stay at the movie night. He wanted to go back to the room to do the devil's lettuce. And I'm like, oh, we can do that anytime. Like, we're on vacation. So we start to fight. So we're fighting because he wants to go do this and I want to do this. And I'm like, I didn't come all the way to Florida to Orlando to be Orlandoing, and I want to do the same ish that you want to do at home. Like, I need to do this, I want to go back and go back to the room and smoke, that you're ruining the vacation, you're ruining the fun, you're ruining the stuff. So we had a fight, and he leaves and he goes back to the room, and I stayed in the pool and watched the movie. So they came back to the room. He apologized, but again, like, as I got older, my mom explained to me, like, this is kind of like a cycle. At that time, my mom explained to me, and then as I got older, I understood that this is like a cycle of an addict where they get their fix and they are now so apologetic and nice and loving, and they love bomb you because they want you to stay and they don't want you to go and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what happened. And so that was fine. I don't remember. Okay. So the next night, we decided we were going to go to the movies and bowling or something like that. If it wasn't bowling, we definitely went to the movies, but we needed to take a cab because that wasn't something that Mears offered. So we found a cab service and we called the cab, and we had picked this bowling alley or movie, whatever, and it ended up being so much further than we had expected, that the cab was more money. Like, at first they told us a certain price, and then when even we realized, I was like, oh my god, like, this was so much further than it seemed, that it cost more money. So it just ended up being like, it was a whole thing. So basically, like, he started blaming me for the fact that we were taking the shuttle because of me, and we took this cab because of me, and I was so confused. So we're starting to fight. So we've now fought day 2, we're now fighting day 3, but it's like a fight, a makeup, a fight, a makeup. And so whatever, that was that. We made it, we make up, we forgive each other, blah 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 blah. Now it's time to go, right? So we are leaving, and we might have went to a water park and then we left the next day. We might have went back to that same water park and then we left the next day. But basically, this is about us leaving. So we're leaving. So what happens is, when you're flying with a buddy pass, majority of the time your flight is not guaranteed. You're on a standby list. So you have to wait for somebody to miss their flight or cancel or whatever might happen. Maybe they missed their connection and you get their seat on the standby flight. Or if the flight is not full, then you get the seat because you're on the standby flight. So we get to the airport and we find out, like, the airport's super busy for we're on the standby list. So they basically, I don't know if they still do this, but maybe they do. I just don't pay attention at the airport, but I paid attention that day. They put us on the standby list, and they have this big TV, and it says, like, standby, and they put your name. So it's like Jamillia, Leon, and we're on standby. So my name came first before his name, and so that means I'm ahead of him for the standby. And so we wait for a while, and finally the next flight is up, and they call my name to the desk. We're sitting at the gate, everything is fine, we're just waiting, we're listening to music. He has the Beats headphones. They were really in at the time, like the old school ones, the black and red ones. I think we had an iPad, some kind of tablet. Like, we're just kind of like chilling out, and then I hear my name. They call my name to the desk, so I go to the desk, and so he comes too because we're together. And so they're like, oh, we have one seat available for you. We have one seat available, but we have one seat available in first class, but there's only one seat available on this flight. And so I'm like, oh, well, there's 2 of us. And she's like, right. So one of you can take this flight, and then the next flight, like, right, let's say a couple hours after this one, they have an economy seat on, right? And so she's like, so you can take this first class, and then he can take the economy, whatever. He's like, I'm not flying economy. I'm not flying in that economy seat. And I just looked at him because I was in shock. The fact that I knew he had this aura of I am King Leon and you shall treat me as such. But I was in shock the fact that we were at the desk trying to get home, that he was responding to the flight, well, she's not a flight attendant, but the ticket agent that way. And actually, I don't know if she's called a ticket agent either. My apologies for whatever that occupation is titled. So the person at the desk who was assisting us, therefore. Okay. There. So she also was in shock, kind of like, you know, and so I'm like, oh my god, like they're gonna take us off the standby list and we're gonna be stranded here. And he was like, I'm not flying economy. Do you have anything else available? And so she was like, no sir, this is what I have available. I have one seat in first class available at this flight right now, and then I think the flight was like in 4 hours, and she was like, and I have another flight in 4 hours that is for economy only. I do not have anything else. So now she had an attitude, because I mean, I'd have an attitude too. Like, this man is over here yelling at me about this economy seat and you fly for free. Like, you need to relax. So he's like carrying on. So I said, okay, I asked her, can she give me 1 minute? And we stepped to the side. And so she's like, you know, basically don't take long, because our names are not the only ones on this list. So he's like, I'm not flying economy. I don't do this and that. He started going crazy, just going crazy. And so I start, you know, naive, in love Jamillia starts feeling so badly. And I'm like, oh my god, like he doesn't want to fly economy, but we both have to get home. What are we gonna do? He's like having this tantrum. I mean, at the time I didn't call it a tantrum, but now I know he's like having this thing. And I was like, you know what, I don't really care that much, because I'm just gonna sleep anyway, so he can just take my seat. Now let's pause for a teachable moment here. Your significant other should not want you to have less than. Let's repeat that for the people in the back. Your significant other, I don't care who they are. We're pro-love over here. I don't care who they are. They should not want you to have less. Okay, so I have transitioned to my phone because my camera battery died. I am new to this filming world, and I have never had that happen to me because I don't use it for that long. So I always kind of like use it and shut it off and use it and shut it off. So now I know that I do need to buy another one, but let's jump back in. So the last place we left off is we're at the check-in. We're at the gate. We're waiting on standby, and the lovely lady at the desk has let us know that there are 2 seats, but one on one flight, which is first class, leaving basically in the next 20 minutes, and one leaving in about 4 to 5 hours on an economy seat. And he begins to have a tantrum, stating that he's not flying economy, he's not getting on that seat, and and I'm like, oh my god, like in my brain I'm like, we gotta get home. Like, I don't really care that much, because to be honest with you, like now that I'm older and I see the different amenities that they offer for first class and for business, I am more interested now. I mean, back then I didn't have a shower on a plane, so now if you told me you want me to give up my first class seat with my shower, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving that up. But at that time, I really didn't care. Like, I was 19, 20. I knew I was just gonna watch a bunch of movies on the screen anyway and eat snacks and sleep. Like, I didn't really care. So to calm him down and to get home safely, I said, you can have my seat, because my name is first and I'm first. And so I'm like, you can have my seat. You can go first. I'll turn it down and I'll take the economy seat, whatever. And he was like, okay. He was like, cool. And he goes to the desk and he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes, because, you know, my name was first. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to just, and she looked at me like, and I know at that time, because again, I was 19, 20, and she was older than me, that she wanted to be like, girl, what are you doing? You know, they want to like knock you in your brain, right? She was probably just like, oh my God, what is this girl doing? Like, no, this is horrible. And in my mind, I was like, we need to get home, and I don't really care if it's a first class. Like, he's uncomfortable in economy, so he can take economy. I mean, I didn't sound like that, but in my brain, now when I play it back, that's how I feel. Now when I play it back in my brain, I definitely hear that voice, because I feel like I was just a moron at that point. But I was so in love. Love. Every time I say that, I think of Keisha Cole when she's like, love. Anyways, so he says, okay, hugs me, kisses me, and he's out. He's down through the door, down the ramp. I can't see him anymore. It's like we're doing a movie. It's like, oh, okay. We're waving and gone. And I text my mom and I let her know I'm just going to be at the airport for the next couple of hours because of this. And she was so upset with me. And And I was so embarrassed. And that's something that I keep looking back on, and I want to share as well with your significant other, is that you shouldn't feel embarrassed to talk to if you have a supportive family. Now, if your family is not a nice family, this does not apply to you, but you shouldn't feel embarrassed to talk about your significant other. And I was so embarrassed to share so many things in my relationship with him, about him, with others, because it was just so much stuff that now that I'm older, I know just was horrible. But that shouldn't be a norm. Like, I should be able to talk to my mom about him, my friends. Like, I definitely told my friends more than I told my mom, which is what, teenagers do. But also because they were kind of going through similar things. We were all trying to, like, find the loves of our lives and dating and stuff. So we kind of understood, like, when, at that time, it wasn't called F-boy-ish, but there was a lot of F-boy-ish going on. As Diddy would say, the BS. Can I say this? The B-ness that was going on, that Diddy would say back in the day. So anyway, so I'm in the airport. So from Florida to New York is like 2.5 hours. Sometimes 3, depending on the turbulence and the air quality and all that jazz. So right, so I'm in the airport, and so now I think what made it worse is he took the headphones. I only had like the little white headphones from your Apple thing. He took his Beats headphones, he took something else, and I think I just had the tablet and the little white headphones that Apple used to give you. And I sat in the airport for like 4 hours. I waited, and then I think he landed before I even got on the plane, and he was like, oh, he landed, and like, just let him know when I was, because he's gonna come pick me up. And I remember I was like, oh my god, he's gonna come pick me up, like, he loves me. And I was like, now when I look back, it's like cringe. Like, girl, this man, no. But anyways, let's go back in time. Jamillia, she was so in love, and he was gonna pick her up in the fancy car, and she was gonna be in the passenger side, and they're just gonna be so happy and go get food. And so, like, now that I'm looking back, I just realized how stupid I was. Like, that's not okay. That he was just like having this big fit. He was ready to leave me. And I think too, I know the fact that it was a first class and an economy thing is a part of it, but it should also be like, it should matter the fact that you left me in the airport for 4 hours by myself. Like, why? Because you didn't want to sit in an economy seat? You are so definitely going to talk about chivalry. I mean, listen, if you wanted to make it about love, we could have said, no ma'am, we're not going to take either seat. We'll wait for a flight together. That would be like the love story of like 2 people living in a studio in Brooklyn roughing it because of love. Like, that's not what I felt. So he left me in the airport, Mr. Leon, for like 4 hours. He landed before I even boarded my next flight. And he was like, I'm going to come pick you up, and we're going to go get something to eat. What do you want to eat? And then he was kind of like asking me about some place we used to go to. They used to have these really bomb chicken sandwiches. He was like, you want to go there? Because that was kind of far. But it wasn't, because it was in Queens, which was by the airport. Just looking back on it, it's just like, it makes me want to hug my husband more. Even though, like I said, all guys are not perfect. But it's just like, what is wrong with men? Like, something in their brain is like, like, this part is not connected, like something over here. Anyways, so I get on the plane. It wasn't bad. I had a nice plane ride. Again, like I said, I ate snacks, I watched movies. I didn't care at that point. I was 19, 20 years. At least my 19, 20-year-old self didn't care about a first class seat. I was just like, we're on a plane. Like, dude, we're flying in the air. Like, that's amazing on its own. And so I landed. He was there. He picked me up. We went, we ate, and then I think he took me home. I think definitely a part of me felt sad. Like, I remember crying in the airport, but it wasn't like a boo-hoo. It was like a movie, couple of drops, and I was like, all right, like, it's the airport, like, explore. And I did. I walked around. It was fun. But it was like, I can make the best out of any situation. So I know a part of me felt sad inside because I didn't want to stay with him that night. Like, I wanted to go home and be with my mom. So I know, like, a part of me definitely was kind of like, okay, like, you're sad. You want to go home. So, but anyways, right. So he left me in the airport, and yeah, that sucks, right? I mean, someone might watch this and be like, what's the big deal? You flew? No, shut up. It's a big deal. And again, remember I said my story times are going to come with PSAs. Your significant other should never make you feel less than and should never want to give you less than. Now, there's a difference between if they can and cannot give it to you. So that's not what I mean. Like, if they don't have the means, don't sit here and be like, I want a Birkin, and your boyfriend works at, or your girlfriend, or your significant other works at Burger King. Like, that's just disrespectful. But, and for those some people might not know what a Birkin is. I want Gucci. Don't ask for that, and your significant other is making minimum wage. Their level of giving, they have this saying where they said, it's like a quote from social media. Someone posted it, and it said, he gave you $100, something like that. He gave you $100, and I gave you $50 or $20. But that was all I had, and he had like thousands. So basically the saying is like, this person A gave you $100, but they might have $5,000, whereas person B gave you $25, but that was their last $25. That's all they had. That was kind of like what I was experiencing with that relationship. He was giving me the bare minimum, whereas literally there was a point where he had a chunk of money, and he bought me like a Comme des Garçons shirt for $175 or something, and a pair of red Toms. I might have already had the Toms, and some Toms and something else, and I was so like, oh my god, like he like loves me so much, like we're doing, and I'm just using the buying thing because I said that. I was like, oh my god, he loves me like so much, and he like went and bought himself new Gucci and Louis or some kind of shit. Like, it's just messed up. But anyways, so right, so he leaves me in the airport, and we're back together and happy-go-lucky. Okay, that was the vacation. Now, the second vacation time, I haven't, depending on how long this video is, this may be the next story time, but